Heather,
Yes,
we're near Marina del Rey.
we are.
We're in a homeless encampment
Yes, we are.
that is mostly women. Lots of dogs.
Lots of dogs.
Lots of dogs.
Couple of cats.
And you guys keep it really immaculate, which is hard
It's very hard.
when you're surrounded by dirt.
Yes.
And I haven't seen you for a couple of years.
Nope.
You reached out to me and said, come on down.
I did.
So tell me about homelessness.
Homelessness.
You're going to have to speak up.
Okay,
A little.
I'll try. Homelessness is, I was never homeless before. I'm from Tennessee, and I had never been homeless in my life. And I moved here with a man that I was engaged to. He's from Venice, and like 3 weeks later, my son hung himself, and
I'm sorry.
my life fell apart. My family fell apart, and I became homeless out here suddenly. I didn't know anybody and didn't have any family, and I was trying to keep what was left of my family together, and here I am 6 years later, still homeless. Making the best of it. In a terrible situation. I keep my spot clean, and I take care of a bunch of people, and a lot of people call me mom, and I've met a lot of great people out here. Some of the best people I've ever known in my life.
When we first met, you had an RV.
I did.
I'll link below. We did some documentaries, and you guys, the police kept sweeping you. Not offering you any place to go.
No. Then Lassa asked me if I would donate my RV for housing. Do you remember? And I donated two RVs, and they never called me, and they left me out on the street.
And
me and my
for
daughter.
Those watching or listening in Los Angeles, anyways, they're trying to do like a swap or a bargaining, and it's a legal thing that happened with a lawsuit. I might not have all the details correct, but like they come in and say, hey, we'll get you into a hotel, but you've got to give us your tent. You've got to give us your RV. So you've given up two RVs and didn't get housing.
Didn't get anything. And I have the same phone number because my daughter is mentally ill, and she remembers my phone number no matter how deep of a psychosis she's in, right? So I keep that same phone number, and I pay for it, right? And so I've had the same phone number for years now. Same number I gave them, never contacted me. But it's in their system. When they look it up, it's in there that I donated RVs already. All my stuff is in there. They have my driver's license, my social security card, my birth certificate. I'm paperwork ready, and I've been paperwork ready for years, and I'm still here. And my mentally ill daughter is still out here.
We got to explain that a little, because people don't understand. They just think, because they often say, they don't want help.
Right.
No, you got to, there's so many rules and regulations. It's insane. And you have to be paperwork ready.
Right. Driver's license, social security card, birth certificate, right?
All this stuff, and other, to get an apartment, credit checks and criminal record and all this other, and then there's criteria. Do you have mental illness? Are you Hispanic? Do you have AIDS?
Right.
You got to go through and check the boxes. And if you don't check the right boxes, you don't get any help.
Right. So although I'm functioning, I know that I have mental illness since my son.
Well, you don't live out here this long and not bounce off the walls a little bit.
I'm not the same person that I was before, before my son committed suicide. I'm not the same Heather. And there are things that I used to do with no problem that I can't do anymore for some reason, like make appointments. Having to be somewhere at a certain time gives me a panic attacks that I can hardly deal with. And I never used to be that way, but that's the way that I am now. And I take care of my daughter that's she has schizoaffective disorder since my son's suicide, and it's dangerous out here for her. So I stay out here with her to keep her safe.
And that is also probably a roadblock in you getting housing, because you have to have housing where your daughter's safe.
Yes. Yes. Because I want she used to, if she didn't recognize where we were at, she would leave and she would come back to this area because she's familiar with this area, and she would try to make it back here. And so I would come looking for her. And one time she was missing for 3 weeks, and I put out flyers everywhere, and she finally called me, and I didn't pick up the phone. I didn't know the number, right? And she left me a message. So I called the number back, and they told me that they had saw her in Long Beach at the LA riverbed where the homeless people live. So me and Melissa go out in the middle of the night with flyers with my daughter's face on them, and I stopped at every homeless encampment along the LA riverbed asking for her, and no one would tell me anything, of course, because I look like an uppity white woman, I guess. and I couldn't find her. And she finally called me, and she was somewhere in the valley. It took me an hour and 45 minutes to get there, and she had been beaten. She had been raped.
Oh,
somebody had
let
a dog attack her, and a dog had bit her face. Half of her earlobe was gone. Like, it's...
I'm so sorry.
It's a very stressful thing out here, trying to keep her.
Well, that's
safe.
the other thing people don't understand is that often in homeless camps, because you don't have the restrictions, if you will, or the challenges of an apartment complex or whatever, that you have people that have mental illness challenges or addiction challenges or just life challenges that just don't fit into the society box.
Right.
But here in a homeless encampment, everybody fits.
Right.
Mostly. Right. I mean, you're a bunch of women taking care of yourself.
Right.
So you have developed a community that is probably healthy most of the time.
Yes.
There's no perfect community.
No. But this one is, we all look out for each other, and I provide the community kitchen, and we all cook, and if Leslie has potatoes and Mo has beans, and they bring what they have to me, and I cook, and I make food for everyone, and if Haven is having a bad day, a bad mental health day, they all pitch in and help me with her. Sometimes I'm enemy number one to her, and because I'm her mom, and it just is what it is.
Right.
And I can't do anything with her, but I can call Wendy or Mo or somebody else, and they can deal with her much.
Right.
How
do you survive out here?
I actually I solder. Actually, I used to travel and go to different electronics companies and teach their hand solder training class, right? And so I have a soldering iron, and I fix electronics, and I take little jobs, fix people's cell phones and repair their charging ports and things like that.
Yeah.
That's how I make money. I have food stamps. I don't get GR anymore. They cut it out.
No disability from your daughter?
No, because I can't keep her mentally. I can't keep her mental health good enough for her to answer questions and stuff with me. As much as I'd like to remember her social, I don't remember it. When she's Haven, she remembers it. When she's having a good mental health days, she remembers her social and her date of birth and things like that. But when she's not, it's hard for me, and I can't keep her on medication out here. Someone steals her backpack or steals this. Her medication's been stolen a bunch of times. There's someone out here, not out here in this encampment, but out here, you know.
Right.
So there's someone that's always willing to get her high, you know, because they were trying to get in her pants or whatever, you know, that she's a young girl and they'll give her drugs. And then there goes the neighborhood, you know, and
doesn't Lhasa or anybody help?
She is actually,
I mean, they should be coming in
exactly
helping you help her.
Exactly. I actually had gotten her in with St. Joseph's, right, when she still had the baby, when we had the baby with us. And they got her a room at the Paradise. And
I was trying to think it's St. Joseph's.
It's St. Joseph's. And their mental health specialist turned Haven into DCFS because she wasn't taking all of her psych meds. But they had her on so many psych meds that she couldn't stay awake. And she had a baby to take care of. And so she cut half of them out, you know. And she was doing really great. She had a job and she was taking good care of the baby. DCFS shows up. She passed the room check, the baby's physical. There was no sign of drug use. She passed a drug test the next day. 2 weeks later, they showed up with the police and they took her baby away from her. And St. Joseph's, like Urban Alchemy, took over the Paradise or something, and she lost her place to live. And they said, well, we'll find her somewhere else. And this was a year ago, and she is still in their system. There still says that they're providing her mental health treatment and her housing, and she has been out here on the street for a year. So, you know, like,
well,
it makes it really hard for me to be to continue to be hopeful that housing is coming, you know, because now I feel that part of the reason that I made this big ass encampment is because I was like, you know what, I gotta build a home for us because they're not gonna give me one, you know, and they're not gonna help me get one, so I have to build one for us. So that's what I did, and I made it as homely as I could, and I created a safe place for her to be, and for other women to be, and I just.
Does this camp have a name?
They named it. Somebody dubbed it Lesbian Lagoon.
Lesbian Lagoon.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you know, the other people call it.
Right.
But I thought about making a sign and putting it up. I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
It's got a ring.
So also unique, this is private property,
Mm-hmm.
and the owner owns a business nearby.
Mm-hmm. He does.
And he pays for your trash pickup.
Yes, he's been wonderful.
And he allows you to live here, but LAPD is coming
On the 29th, and anybody that is still here is going to jail, they said, is going to be arrested. Because they said that they have taken this property from him.
Can they do that?
I believe so. They can say that it's him allowing us to live here is creating a environmental hazard.
Well, it's against the freeway.
Yeah, it's
So
against
there
the
might
freeway.
be,
That it's a safety
might-
issue.
Caltrans
Yes.
or who knows.
You know, who knows what they use.
But the mayor came through and said that they're going to come and pick you up and give you housing on
Right.
the 17th
on November the 17th.
of next month.
Right.
However,
We have to be out of here by the 29th.
well, where are you going to go?
You tell me. I have no idea. I can't just go pitch a tent on the sidewalk somewhere with my daughter, you know, and all these women out here that have come to depend on each other. You know, it's not safe for women to be out here in a tent in the streets of Los Angeles. It's just not. A tent doesn't keep anything out. You know, I've seen lots of women put locks on their zippers of their tent, you know,
Right.
and that's You know, if you want in a tent, you're going to get in a tent, you know.
That's they call it security theater.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it might make you feel better.
It
but
makes them feel better, but it's not. It's doing nothing at all. And I just can't. I can't put her in that kind of environment. My girlfriend Melissa, she lived in a homeless shelter for a year, and she got raped in a homeless shelter. Well, nearly raped, and she beat the guy up. Right? She wore his ass out, and they kicked her out. They kicked her out. So, you know, like that. There's lots of places out here that are not safe for women. They're not safe for anybody, actually. You know, there's a couple of men that live here too.
A couple of men in Lesbian Lagoon.
Yes, there's a couple of men that live here in Lesbian Lagoon because it's safe here. Because they don't want to be out there where they have to, you know, deal with all the things that you deal with when you're homeless.
What would you want people to know that are driving by to see you guys, or that are in the apartment complex? You know, because that's what it is.
Yes.
You know, the business owner is okay with you guys, but the people living in the apartment buildings see the tents. They don't know you, but they want you gone.
Right. But, well, you know, they always think that we're a bunch of drug addicts and that's why we're homeless, because we are on drugs, and that is so far from the truth. Some people are on drugs. Let's be real about it. I don't judge them for what they do in their tent. You know, I know some people that are in homes that are on drugs.
Most drug addicts live in homes.
Yes,
and they'll never be homeless in their lifetime.
Right. We're not selling drugs. Like one time, I got questioned by the police, and when we were living in the motorhomes, you know, in the RVs, and I said to you really think that this is the motorhome mafia? Like, have you watched what goes on over here? Like, if I were running women and guns and drugs, I would not be living in a motorhome on the side of the street with no fucking running water. You know, like, are you serious? What do you?
You must be really bad drug dealers.
You know, like this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. You know, so we're not drug dealers out here. We're poor. You know, even the people that get GR, $221 a month is nothing. You know, and $290 in food stamps is nothing. You know how expensive food is. We're just trying to make it. Everyone has a story. Everybody out here has some traumatic thing that occurred in their life that brought them here. You know. And they're just trying to make it. You know, you never know when something traumatic is going to happen in your life and you're going to be homeless.
I've said this a couple times today. It's really good seeing you, but I hate that you're still out here.
You know,
and I hate that every time I see you, you're like going to have police sweep wherever you're living.
I know. You know, it's okay. It's all right. I can go to jail.
Okay.
I mean, I can go to jail for this, though. You know.
Well, what happens to your daughter if you go to jail?
I mean, they'll watch her. Mo will watch her. Mo will take care of her. Somebody will take care of her out here. But I'll go to jail.
If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
You know, I really can't. That's a hard one to answer because, you know, even genies can't bring back the dead. You know. So, you know. It's of course, I wish everybody had a home, but with a home comes, you could give people a house, but you can't give them a home if they don't have, you know, people that they love in their life. You know, I would wish that everyone that I know that's houseless, one day has a home, you know, because that's different.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming. Now you know where I am. I mean,
Lesbian Lagoon.
At least until the 29th. You know, come on down, Lesbian Lagoon.
Most homeless camps are named the jungle, right? There's a jungle in probably every state. There's several jungles.
Yep.
This is the first lesbian lagoon that I've.
I know. I thought that was pretty great.
Well, I do too. Great. I do too.
I guess it's because we're all a bunch of, you know, it's a bunch of women that have been through some shit, you know? So whatever. I like it.